About a year ago, Bradley Beal was signed a 5-year, $251 million Supermax contract extension. Not only would this contract make him one of the highest paid players ever, but it would also make him the only active NBA player with a no-trade clause. That's right, guys. No other player in the NBA currently has a no-trade clause. Not LeBron James, not Steph Curry, not Nikola Jokic, not Damian Lillard, but yet Bradley Beal has one? I just know that Beal's agent has to feel like the man. Now, as one might have guessed, that no-trade clause would end up being huge for him, while shockingly being a massive pain for the Washington Wizards and its fan base. I remember making my "What in the world are the Washington Wizards doing" video when the Wizards re-signed Beal like it was yesterday. Ironically, I thought the exact same thing when the initial trade details dropped for his trade to the Phoenix Suns. But check it out. There have been a few massive updates that, at least in my opinion, have changed everything. But first, with the NBA season being over, I've been using PrizePicks to watch sports and games that I usually wouldn't. And let me say this, while I've been waiting for the NBA to return amid all of this chaos, I've actually been having a ton of fun, and pick-wise, I haven't done too bad either. Out of tons of plays, here are some of my wins. I'm going to start posting some plays to my IG daily so you guys can know exactly how I'm doing. Feel free to contact me over there and let me know exactly how you're doing too. When you sign up for PrizePicks, be sure to use code COOP, because when you do, you'll get your first deposit instantly doubled for up to $100. Huge shout out to PrizePicks for sponsoring today's content. Matt Ishbia and the Phoenix Suns continue to amaze me. Though we all knew that a big move was coming for this Phoenix Suns team after yet another postseason letdown in the Chris Paul news, never in a million years would I have guessed that this team would be trading for Bradley Beal. I mean, just June 14th, Shams was reporting that the Washington Wizards and Bradley Beal would work together to find a trade for the three-time All-Star if the team elected to reset the roster, and go figure, they did. With the Wizards resetting their roster, they would make Beal available. Now, what sucked for Wizards fans is that the man should have been available a while ago, and also, even though he was now available, he wouldn't be available to the highest bidder. Remember that pesky no-trade clause that we talked about earlier? That would basically allow him to choose his next destination. And according to Shams, in doing so, he would choose Phoenix over Miami, Milwaukee, and Sacramento. Here's where it gets fun. June 14th, Woj would report that Beal choosing Phoenix would lay the framework for the Washington Wizards getting a haul of Landry Shamet, Chris Paul, several second-round picks, and a pick swap. Not exactly the greatest haul, right? Well, the good news for Wizards fans is that this wouldn't be the final trade or the Wizards' final vision, as a lot has happened since June 14th, including a massive update regarding this trade altogether. In fact, me waiting on this update and others is a huge reason as to why I waited to bring you guys this video and why I've been waiting to bring you guys other videos. I didn't want to tell you guys that one thing is happening and then that thing not happen. So fortunately, June 23rd, we would get that massive update that I was just talking about, with Woj finally announcing the finalized Beal trade. Not only were the Wizards receiving 6 second-round draft picks, but now they would also be receiving 4 first-round pick swaps, which is huge for Washington, even if they don't convey, which I'd say that there's a pretty solid chance that half of them don't. But hey, nobody has a crystal ball, as I like to say. Now, not only were the Wizards able to get off of Beal's contract, creating cap space for other moves, but they were also able to get additional assets for their new president to play with. I can't be the only one that can't believe that Jordan Poole is a Washington Wizard right now. Wizard fans, I'm well aware of all of the moves that you guys have made, and they interest me. Don't worry, we are going to cover them. I'm going to get you guys a video ASAP. So let's talk pick swaps. The Wizards would now get the following first-round pick swaps. 2024, doubt they use that one. 2026, I'm going to say that there's a small chance. 2028, there's a chance. and 2030, which who knows what in the world will be going on in Pheonix at that time. That's a pretty good swap considering that this team has no control over its picks until 2031. 2031 is a while from now, but I guess you could say that opportunity costs. How much does it cost, you ask? I want to show you guys a quick visualization of what the Suns gave up for KD and Beal. In the comments below, let me know if you think that what they gave up is worth it. Moving on to what the Suns got back in this monstrous deal, they would only be getting back Jordan Goodwin, Isaiah Todd, and of course, Bradley Beal, who just so happens to be 2 seasons away from averaging 31.3 points per game on 49% from the field. I've always wanted to see what Beal would be able to do as the second option on a true contender, and now he's the third on a team that features both Devin Booker and Kevin Durant. That's just silly. Maybe I'm being a bit naive here, but I completely understand why the Suns traded for Bradley Beal. Don't get me wrong, it all comes at a cost, but at least when it comes to Beal, I feel like they paid a pretty good price. If nothing else, I know that this trade had to make my guy KD happy, as him and Book were actively recruiting Beal. With the recruiting being successful, Kevin Durant would find himself on yet another super team. Guys, I feel like Jesse Pinkman in that scene from Breaking Bad. At some point, Kevin Durant has to stop getting away with this. The man landed in Phoenix just months ago, and now you're telling me that he is on yet another super team? Make it make sense. Jokes aside, shout out to Kevin Durant and Book's recruiting, because the Suns just got a whole lot better while somehow, someway, being able to keep DeAndre Ayton, which I consider a win, even if they didn't want him, which according to Kevin O'Connor, they didn't. And I quote, "He very well could have been in the Wizards deal if they wanted him. The Suns will look at deals for teams that can absorb his salary. If Ayton feels like he wasn't getting the ball enough these past few years playing with CP3 at point guard, then I have no idea how he'd feel with Book, Beal, and KD running the show. In all seriousness, I think that Ayton is gone, which sort of sucks because he can be dominant on both sides of the ball when he wants to be. I actually like the idea of Ayton under Vogel, as it's clear that him and Monty had issues. Vogel said himself that he's intent on really connecting with him and restoring him to an all-star level player. And it sounds good, so I believe it. Again, that is as long as Ayton doesn't get dealt. Look guys, what do you want me to say? When you have the scores that Phoenix does, having a guy like Ayton is more of a luxury. With Book, KD, and Beal, your big just needs to be a lob threat, block shots, and able to get some boards. I know that Ishbia is a big baller, but I still think that there's a good chance that he's still eyeing down that Ayton contract, despite reports saying otherwise. Let me just say that that new CBA is no joke. Now, while I love the idea of Ayton playing under Vogel, I also love the idea of point Book. Booker has been growing as a ball handler and coverage destroyer every single season. I really do think that he's going to surprise some people this year who haven't been paying attention to his evolution. Now, I'm not going to say that my man is going to be passing the ball on the same level as Point Harden or anything like that. I'm just saying that he's more than capable of being a valuable playmaker that keeps immense pressure on a defense. In the 2018-2019 season, Book averaged nearly 7 assists a game, and in 14 games without CP3 this past season, he would average 6.5 assists, 5.4 rebounds, and a light 29.3 points a game. Now, though Book is more than capable, I would still like for this team to find a way to go out and get more solid facilitators. When you have guys like the Suns have, you don't need world beaters around them, but you still do need solid players, contrary to popular belief. While I side on talent usually figuring things out, it really isn't that simple. Though this roster has talent, it isn't exactly built on Ironmen who are playing all 82 games every season. Every member of this big three played under 55 games last season. This might be a bad time to bring this up, but Mikal Bridges played 83 games last season. That's just a fun fact. Anyways, what I'm trying to say here is that there are going to be games where a member or two of that big three are missing, meaning that guys that aren't named Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, and Bradley Beal are going to have to step up. And the million-dollar question is, will they? I have a lot of faith in Jordan Goodwin and love the addition, but this team has some work to do. That being said, I know that this is going to sound like a contradiction, and I'm probably going to get torched for this, but I didn't absolutely hate the Suns bench last year. I know that the narrative is that they were basically terrible, but I think that a large part of that falls on Monty's substitutions and wanting to play his guys until it was basically too late for the rest of the bench to get into a consistent rhythm. The annual CP3 injury really didn't help either, but I'm sure you guys get my point. It'll be interesting to see what players the Suns bring back this offseason and how they fill out this roster. Though I can tell that Ishbia can be a bit impulsive, he doesn't really strike me as somebody that goes into things without a plan. Guys, how do you think next season will go for the Phoenix Suns? How many games are they winning? Are they winning the championship? Let me know what you think of everything. Clicking the video on the screen right now is a great way to support my channel. I'm GetLikeCoop, bringing you guys the scoop until our next upload.